Hi, okay, Verson Bola Hail Carib-Sport. Let's get with it. A quickie late on a Sunday night here. The grandfather law has been passed in Trinidad and Tobago. It was passed, I believe, on the 12th of September. Now, you gotta give the government credit. A week before, they said they were gonna try to expedite it. They were on a break or hiatus or whatever. And 1 week later, grandfather law has been passed. This is really going to be a boon for TNT football. The Jamaicans are using it. You know, they've got Bailey, they've got Pinnock, and they've been taking full advantage of it. It puts us on an equal footing with the many countries that do use the grandfather law. I believe the press reports say they've got about 40 players they're looking at. I assume they've done their due diligence, so they can jump on this. Obviously, they're not going to call all 40 players to train a few days before a World Cup qualifier. They're probably going to look at the three or four best who say yes, have them train with the team and see what happens. First things first, let me look at some players that I have noticed. There's one, two, three, four, five players. Four that have direct lineage. Direct lineage means a parent. The other one, I believe, is eligible through the grandfather law. No one says it. I'm just taking a hypothesis, and I'll explain why. Let me get to it. Let me get to who these players are. All right. They're all from England. That the ones that I have um, located. First of all, there's Ty Barnett, 20 years old. He's a left winger. He plays for Wolves. He's played mainly for the youth team. He's been on the first team once or twice. Hasn't really actually played first team football. Was on the bench in December of 2023 at just 18 against Chelsea. Okay, he's a left winger. You got DJ Buffonj, if I'm saying that correctly, 26 years old, playing for MN um, as a central midfielder in the sorry, yeah, as a midfielder in the Dutch second division. He previously played Serie B and C in Italy. He has been in the Netherlands for the last 5 years, going between the first and second tier of Dutch football. Last year, he joined MN as with an amateur status. In his 5 years in the Netherlands, he scored one goal. So take that for what you may. Okay, but he's only 26. He's a midfielder. Then you've got Antwoine Hackford, 21 years old. He's a striker playing for Wimbledon in Division 1. He has played for England at under 15 and under 16 years old, and it says he's got dual citizenship. So the first two are direct lineage. This guy, they say dual citizenship. I don't know in which way. They didn't specify. Most of my info comes off Wikipedia. All right. Um, so on ex England under 15, under 16, only 21. Very curious. I gotta think these first three guys, they don't really think they're gonna make the England team. So I'm really surprised that unless they turn us down, but they haven't come and trained with the team. Then you've got Danny Imrai or Imri. Excuse my pronunciation. 22 years old, right back. Yet another right back, but sometimes defenders can switch positions. Huh? He plays for Crystal Palace. He's on loan to Blackpool in Division 1. Nice player to look at. Wouldn't that be something else? And then comes the guy who I believe is hypothetically applicable to the grandfather rule. This is Tom Ince. And if the name sounds familiar, it should. His father is Paul Ince, who played for Liverpool in England. So this guy, Tom, he is an offensive midfielder. He's 33 years old, ex-England under 17, under 19, and 21. Okay, he's been all through the EPL. He was with Liverpool, and when he was about 20, they wanted to extend his contract long term and put him out on loan. And for some reason, he and his father didn't mind the extension, but they had a problem with the contract, it being putting him on loan and on retaining him only if it was a long term contract. And he and his father decided, nah, that was going to work. And he moved on. He's been with a variety of clubs in the EPL. He is presently with Watford in the Championship. All right. A very, very seasoned player. As I said, offensive midfielder. And in how does the grandfather rule apply? Well, Ince was not born in Trinidad, but he's got Trinidad heritage. He's a cousin to Clayton Ince, the goalkeeper from the 2006 Warriors team. And I'm therefore making an assumption that Mr. Ince, his father, um, I said Paul's father was probably a Trini, and therefore this youth is the grandson. There's another Ince, I believe his half brother or something, but that guy was adopted by Paul Ince, so he not really, there's not the Trini thing going. All right, so I hope that is understandable. That's just my little homework, and they have 14 names, but I would like to think we get two or three, maybe four. Right, I'm a little excited. Um, so what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen is this: they only got about 5 days before the Bermuda game, and then about another three before we play Curacao. That's about eight. Okay, if I'm Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. No, I lied to you. 4, 9. That's 9 days. one day to come to the first match. That's minus 2 days. That's 7 days together. 7 days will have to work. It's cutting it fine, but what can we do? I wish we had done this 9 months before, but it is the way it is. But the two or three guys that gel with the team in 7 days should not be a big deal. And remember, the other 2 days they may be training, doing a few practice moves and so on, right? So I'm a little excited with this. There are 14 names. So how does this work? Well, on the Friday was the 12th. I would have had my documents ready. Everybody would have their documents on the weekend, have it filled out with paperwork and photos by Monday, Tuesday. If you don't have an embassy in your city, you would use FedEx, which means between Wednesday and Friday, or between Tuesday and Friday, the embassies would have it. And this is a little express thing, and the Ministry of Sport is involved. So by the following Friday or before, I would assume, again, I would assume that they have their passports, which means the 12th, the 26th of September, everybody has a passport, and I believe the first game is on the 10th. Forgive me if I'm wrong, it mightn't be the 10th, but you know what I'm going with this. They have their passports, they're ready, they're ready. So I hope the paperwork has been done. Maybe the paperwork was even done on the weekend and handed out on Monday, which is tomorrow. Yay! All right. So I am looking forward to the next 10 days with bated breath to see what is the news coming out of Trinidad and Tobago football. The press report, the opposition knocked it a little bit. I mean, they have to, the opposition, right? I forgot the ex-minister's name, but he was saying people who don't have, were not born in Trinidad, who have grandchildren, who had citizenship in the past, these people can take advantage and use a passport for nefarious means. Um, but the prime minister, okay, according to the courts, completely contradicted him, said it has to be direct lineage. And the FIFA rules make it very clear that the grandparent must have been born in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so it really kind of eliminates or contradicts what he was saying. Again, this is press reports, but the law has to be applicable to what FIFA says, or they can't play. So, for example, if you got your citizenship through um, who knows, you marry somebody, or Lord knows what the hell happened. You lived in Trinidad for 5, 6 years and they gave you citizenship. No, that would not apply if that person was your grandfather or grandmother. Penelope Beckles, the opposition leader, made a semi-legitimate comment in that these people are only choosing Trinidad because the other country didn't want them, and therefore, um, you know, let's hope that they're committed. Well, first of all, she's quite right. The guys from England, USA, we weren't their first choice. This is true. But I wanted to understand that every single player who has ever committed to Trinidad from abroad, we've never had a problem with the dedication. The most glaring example of this, most outstanding example of this, was J. Lloyd Samuel. It was 2010. We were out of the World Cup qualifiers out, and he showed up for the last game anyway. And I was so surprised because he didn't grow up in Trinidad. I thought he mightn't care, but good for him. The only kind of semi-curious situation was a guy called Bostock. He was brought down for a game. His paperwork wasn't ready. He stayed with the team, and then we never saw him again. He didn't retire from football. He just didn't bother with us again. Went away. Don't know what happened, if there was a good reason or a bad reason. But all the guys I can think of, Chris Burchell, Buku, these two brothers whose names I have forgotten, and J. Lloyd Samuel, the present guys, Dante Seeley, Kobe Henry, nobody's had a problem with them. Ian Cox, nobody's had a problem with them. All right? Um, so that might, I don't know if she follows football. If she does, and she's seen what's been happening for the last 20 years, commitment by these foreign based or foreign born has never been an issue. So, as I said, quite a few countries have taken advantage of it, they've benefited from it. And now we are on equal footing with the many countries, including Jamaica, that are doing it. And even if we don't see immediate benefits this year, in the next few years, we have just opened up a whole new volume of resource in terms of football talent. I even want to take a macro for ex-great footballers to see if they have any grandchildren playing in the USA and stuff. I did a quick, Steve David, De Leon, some big names from the 80s, Garnett Craig, Ronnie Simmons, and so on. The only name I found quickly, and it was a girl, so I didn't really focus on it too much because I'm kind of biased right now looking at the boys, was Chinapu, who might be Richard Chinapu's relative, but I'll go back and check that later. Did I want to say anything else? Nope, I think that was it. That's it right now, huh? The only thing was, nope, that's it. One of these players, and I've forgotten what I wanted to say, so I'll shut my mouth before I embarrass myself. But I believe it's Imrai. I believe he is eligible also for other countries and has blanked them, that being Antigua and Montserrat. So I don't know. It would be nice to get him. He's only 22. He's a right back. So the next few weeks will be very exciting. I wish Dwight Yorke the best. We're cutting it fine. We're cutting it fine. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but we have a shot, and everybody we've brought in has behooved the team. It's really made the team better. So I am Versan Bolai. This is Hail Carib-Sport. Let's continue to support our Warriors. We're still in it. We still got a shot. Remember, in 2006 when we qualified for the World Cup, the first three games I think we only had a point, and in came a guy called Bean Hacker, and we qualified for the World Cup. So let's stay strong. Let's be positive. Let's support our Soca Warriors.